Taylor and Dakota, let's talk about it. Toxic relationships, okay? We use the word toxic, but people don't understand we're talking about actual chemistry. This is a poisonous combination of two people who grew up in a dynamic, a culture, a religion, where your sense of self is outsourced to the people around you, and they decide whether you are worthy of basic needs like love, safety, and security. So when your sense of self is completely given over to someone else, it's like you are a flashlight and you've outsourced your batteries, and you say, I have given my batteries to you, and I will just depend on you to shine light for me. And when that person shines the light somewhere else, which is what Dakota was doing, he was going and shining his he was putting his flashlight in other women. And then she would get upset because she felt alone and in the dark and isolated. And the physical abuse and the trying to grabbing of it is a sure sign that communication is not happening with oneself, which would make sense if you grow up in this dynamic because your inner world was not prioritized. What was prioritized was how things looked on a checklist to determine whether you're worthy of receiving love, God's love, and eternal salvation. So what do? You take your batteries and you give them to a system, a business, and you pay them 10% like you're paying an electric company, and they say, we will provide the sun for you. We will provide God for you. You just need to make sure that you show up every week and that you volunteer in our thing and you sign over your life mortgage away at 8 years old. And you just need to make sure that you give us 10% of your total income, and we will provide a self-sealing, it's like a perspective, Pythagorean theorem. Yeah, it adds up because it's logical. If you notice when people bear their testimony, they don't say, I believe that God is with me at all times because we are one and of the same. They say, no, I believe the church is true. I believe the Pythagorean theorem is true. I believe that this math equation, it always adds up because it's logical, because I have outsourced my vision and my sense of power to them. They are storing my soul for me. I don't need it because my experience doesn't matter. I just need to make sure that I follow this checklist. Does it sound familiar to some of you? Okay, back to this. They are in this dynamic at the highest level of abuse that you can get to, which is really scary, obviously, when kids are involved. So we can look at this as a really great example of what not to do in relationships, but also what we are breaking in society as a human race. We're getting out of this. We are human beings. We are human beings with a heartbeat. If you have a heartbeat right now, raise your hand. Great. God loves you and you are alive. Okay, if you have a heartbeat and you're alive and you don't believe in God, great. I love you too. If you have a heartbeat and you are alive, your feelings matter. Your experience matters. You might feel really alone right now because you don't have the tools to build a life based on your own inner confidence and knowing, because maybe you grew up believing that all you could provide was a checklist for somebody else. And if you fell short of that checklist, which was almost all the time, it just meant you're in a perpetual state of needing to change who you are to be good enough, to be supported, to be loved. This is a sure sign that you've grown up in transactional relationships. It's like saying, oh, well, you didn't pay your 10%, so you're going to get all your power shut off. You don't have it now. The Holy Ghost got taken away from you because you drank coffee because Sips was closed. You went shopping on Sunday, so you should feel bad about that and change because somebody died on a cross for you and you're not worthy of being loved. That is the biggest lie that religion ever told. That is not universal love showing up in the story and saying, hey, Yes, we can look around and see that people are not moving through love. We can see that they're making decisions where life doesn't feel valued by them because their own soul is not present. This is what is happening. Yes. You cannot expect someone who does not have access to their own soul to value the soul of others. That is the map of narcissism. That is felt through density. It's felt by light workers. When you are around somebody and immediately your body feels, what you're feeling is the shift in light and density as it comes closer to you. It's sound coming closer to you. Some of this might not mean anything to you. But for people that read energy, this is actually what you're reading with somebody. You are reading, your body is telling how much light is in this person and how much darkness is in this person. Darkness doesn't always mean negative and trying to take your life from you, but for a lot of people it does, because that's the only time they ever had power. It's the only time they ever had light. Electricity, people paid them. It's why some of the most successful people in the world are the most narcissistic. They need that because it's the only thing that feeds their soul here. But soul in this case is in the bottom of their feet. It's what's holding their feet up. It's in their shoes. It's not in their heart. And so that is one way we can connect right now when all of these things are coming to light and you might be feeding into the negativity and giving it power. You are giving it more power by looking it up and scrolling and watching the video. So this is one way, is keep your eyes open, keep your eyes closed, whatever you want to do. But as you breathe, you're going to breathe and feel like this, okay? The infinity symbol is going to move through your body. Some of you have seen this picture. From your head down to your feet. And we have glow-in-the-dark hearts. Connected. There we go. You could see there's a central. You could say, that's Jesus right there. Jesus is central to my life. I feel it. You might feel it in your woman through your nipples right here. Wow. It's why they're so sensitive sometimes. Oh, wow, I'm feeling all of that. Yeah? You're feeling it here for a man. Yeah, there's power there, okay? Through your eyes, through your ears. Breathe in. This is how we connect together as humans, okay? You could see us holding hands all around the equator. You could see us at the middle of the equator. You don't need to be at the North Pole. You don't need to be at the South Pole. You just need to be here, embracing the whole globe. That's how we as a world become more connected. It's how we actually shift the density of being what it means to be human. Is we create more actual light in the body. Even narcissistic patterns can still be adjusted through knowledge and evolution. Some people would argue with that and say, this person is irreparable. That might be true. And there might be people that would never be on board. And you're right. I don't need to hop into that. But for the most people, this is biology plus consciousness. This is the new baseline. No one else is teaching it. And truly, I believe that I am the best of the best when it comes to helping us quickly evolve. This is not just for one person, two people. It's for everyone as humans. And I understand a lot of people aren't going to learn by watching a video. I understand that. That's why I have music. That's why I use comedy. That's why I clip things down. And it's why sometimes I don't even share, because I know that just for me to say this, it is now in my energy. And for the people that are meant to take of that, it's there. I offer that to you just when I show up. Yeah? But I certainly have outsourced my power to other places many times, especially to men. Because when you grow up in Utah and you grow up in Mormonism, you learn that men are higher than you. They have special powers above you. They're the ones that are making all the decisions. They are the ones that are deciding what worthy even means. Who is worthy of God's love and special blessings? And what do you need to do to stay in compliance so that you continue to receive those things. That is not the way that I see humans. It's not the way I see God's love, and it's not the way I experience it. And it actually is really frustrating when you're somebody who has left the church and you're still dealing with people who are unaware that they are in self-abandonment and codependency in their current cycle, and they are told this is the only right way. Otherwise, you're going to hell and you can't be with your family together. And forever. I was going to say, and your family forever. Jeez, there's so much that comes up when I just start talking about this. Like, one of the most ironic things about the Mormon culture is that they will and have put death and life after death above even now, because they say, we want to be together as a family so badly that in this life we will distance ourselves from you because you're not following the rules of the church. That is the most ironic thing. That is where they've outsourced their power so much, and where love is not the story. This is where people don't understand. No, you are in a mortgage contract on your soul that you signed away at maybe you were 8 years old, maybe later. I want the church to hold my soul for me in storage, and every month I will pay for you to provide light for me in my body. So my nervous system belongs to you so that my soul can be kept safely through this system. So this system works. I pay the electric company and then I have light. And in the moments that I don't have light, I just need to pray and change myself, and then I'm worthy of light again. That is the cycle of self-abandonment and codependency. Your own personal experience is not prioritized because it was never part of the system. So it's really frustrating, and it's no surprise that especially in Utah there's such high rates of prescription drug abuse in general, and suicide. And you have these really deep hyper extremes, and I was one of those people. I did everything right and nothing worked out in my life. And that when I was 20, I left the church and I said, what's the point in doing everything right if nothing works out anyway? That was my belief at 20. And I said, you know what? I don't care about anything, including myself. I'm going to throw all this away and I'm going to start all the way over. And what I didn't even know what was going to happen was that my trust in God actually increased. My intuition skyrocketed. I was somebody who had so much blind faith because I had been seeing in the dark and reading energy since I was 5 years old. That's why I was gaslit by doctors. That's why, for me, leaving the church actually helped me find myself and value myself and be more myself. Because I was somebody who could actually focus on that when I left. Unfortunately, I had an addiction at that time. I had an eating disorder. But that was the internal system that I created so that I could prioritize my needs. And in a lot of ways, even though the eating disorder wasn't healthy, the pattern of me prioritizing what I wanted was the healthiest thing for me. And that is sometimes where, when you just look at the logic of it, it does make sense because it's something that's helping you connect with yourself, because more often than not, the system you grew up in actually required that you abandon yourself. So for you to come back, you have this thing that's stable and you need it every day. And for some people, it's something like, taking vitamins or prayer. But when that system is still, I don't really want to get into all that. Yeah, this is probably just where we just stop it.